Hey, this is Ryan with Yushu. Thank you so much for clicking on part 2 of my Blackbird Luchador Z review. If you want to see the QC of the boot, a general overview of it, and a deep dive into their website, please see part 1. But in this video, we'll be going over sizing, on feet, footage, and a wrap-up of what I really think. Thank you so much for watching. Please enjoy. Let's jump into sizing. Now, this is a Luchador boot also. This is just their standard Luchador stitch-down boot, but this boot is in their Royce B last, and this boot is in, I believe it's called their Rover last. And so you can see how different they are, even though they're both double row stitch-down boots. They look completely different. This one has, just a lot more room in the toe box, while this one is a little bit dressier, a little bit more almond toe. But how do they size? Well, I think the best way to kind of look at how they size is I'm going to show you the insole, the added insole they give you. So I forgot to show this in the unboxing because this was in my closet, but this is the insole for the Rover B, and you can see what that toe shape looks like. And this is the insole for the Luchador in the Royce B. So if you put that on top, the heel is fairly similar, but you can just tell it's a little bit longer. The Royce B is a little bit longer, and the Rover is just a little bit wider. So all this goes to say that for their sizing, I recommend going true to size. And this is another thing that's kind of cool because they give you these insoles. So their sizing is a little bit awkward because it's two sizings. I'm a 12.5D slash 13C on the Brannock. And in this boot, I got their 12.5 slash 13. So again, kind of true to size, and it works perfectly with that almond toe box. It's just, yeah, it's just awesome. Super comfortable last. And so with this boot, I have tried this one on, so I can talk about sizing. It also works in that same exact size. It's just there is a little bit more room in the toe box, which, yeah, no kidding, bro. I just showed you that the toe box looks different. So I say go a true to size with both of them. The nice thing about having this added insole kind of helps if you favor the lower end of the spectrum of the sizing because your foot's a little bit smaller and you need to add. So it really, because of that insole, helps you with sizing in both ways. So I did try these on, but didn't want to crease them or anything. I wanted them to look fairly new for you guys so I can get this footage and you guys can kind of go on this break-in journey with this Mayrum Horserump leather together. And the laces that they have in the boot are these cotton laces. They're fine. I think the leather ones are a little bit better, but we're just going to rock these because I think these will be a little bit easier to get this tight. Basically, it's tight in the heel, feels nice in the heel. Then it is as like a standard width, of course, in the ball of the foot. And then I'm about right there. So that's plenty of room for me. And it just has a little bit more room on the sides. So it's just a little bit more generous. My foot fits. It doesn't feel sloppy. This feels locked in. This feels nice and like that firm handshake that Tech from Bootlosity talks about. That's perfect. I'm getting that with my heel. My heel does feel like it could come in a little bit. It's not like a super tight heel like my Alden's, but it's super comfortable and absolutely, absolutely acceptable. Now this boot, I haven't tried on because I always try on my right boot first because that's my bigger foot to make sure I can even wear the shoes long term. But now let's jump into this one. It's been laced differently. I don't care for how it's laced, but we're just gonna go with it. Like what the heck? Like what were we thinking here? What were we thinking with the lacing? Company is trash. They don't know how to lace a boot. No, I'm just kidding. All right. I kind of need to pull tabs. Ooh, nice thumb. Got a little bit of creasing already going because of this weird lacing. I don't know. Explain to me what the benefits of this lacing is. I guess it looks a little bit sleeker. You go in here, but let's just try it out. Let's just see what they got. They're a little bit short, but again, the leather is super stiff. It's a veg tan leather. It will need to break in. Sorry, I was out of frame there. That's Bush League, but that's what you've come to expect with me, and you still stick around, so I really appreciate it. So the nice thing about it is you do have that leather sock liner, so you feel a little bit of cush. You don't have the cork filler that you would normally have in a Goodyear welted boot. So in a stitch down boot, it's nice to have that full length sock liner over that veg tan insole. And then you do have some sort of foam. Maybe it's similar to this foam underneath the heel, so it gives you that instant comfort. But right now, they're very stiff. This is a very stiff boot. There's no doubt about that because of the leather. But that nice firm handshake, and there's plenty of room in the toe box, but not too much room where it feels like I'm dragging a clown shoe. Because if I go up a little bit too much with size and the last is a little bit too long, I just can't stand it. But I'm not getting that. It's got that really nice shape, really good feel. It's stiff, but it's got enough foam under the heel and that leather liner to give you that comfort right out of the box. Now, let me show you what I see on the sizing so you can get that top-down look at this last. Here's what I see. It's looks really nice. I mean, that double row stitch down looks really good. It is a little bit more of a bulbous toe. I mean, I wouldn't quite say bulbous toe like an Iron Raider, but it's just not, it's just not sleek like their other last. And I think that looks really good. It makes it so you can rock this like shiny horse butt leather without looking like you're wearing a dress shoe. This is something that still makes it a little bit more casual, and it just looks really good. I love the shape of this last. I think some of the other stuff that I want to do with them is definitely going to have this last. I would go for this last if I was doing more dressier stuff, but for this channel, at least, I want to go more casual. And the break of the cap toe looks pretty good. It's a pretty big cap toe. Same with this one, and it broke right where I needed it to break. So the creases will start right after it because I hate when you have a huge crease, inside the cap toe. But again, half of my Allen Edmonds that are cat toes have that, so it's not a deal breaker. Oh, with slippers. Okay. Yeah, looking really good. Really nice top-down shots. I think if you like a little bit more roomier toe, this is the last for you. Let's talk a little bit about the leather. Of course, it's Mayrum Tusconello Horserump leather. I'll give you some B-roll shots as we look over that. Kind of a cool, quick thing. This doesn't really matter to you guys, but my family name, where my father's from, where my father's family is from the Tuscany area of Italy, and I'm from Lucca. I mean, my family's from Lucca, so this is Mayrum Tanneries from that area, and Tusconello Horserump is named after that area. So it's got a little bit more of a heritage to my personal family, but I've only been to Italy once. What am I talking about? But it is a veg tan leather. They make amazing veg tan leathers. This one being the horse butt and the TPR, which the TPR is finished with a mixture of oil, wax, and resin to give it that nice, rich luster at the beginning. And I've heard of different things about how it will age depending on how you wear the boot, which is cool. Some people have still been able to maintain that luster from the TPR finish, and some people it goes really dull. So I'm excited to see how it goes for me. And if it does go dull, I think I would be able to kind of bring it back to life. This color Tuscanello gets its name from a cigar named the same thing, and the Tuscanellos, being a veg tan, will patina really beautifully over time. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. So that's just a little bit about the leather. Dale's from Dale's Leatherworks. He has a lot more info on Mayrum Horserump leather, so go check his video out if you want to do a deeper dive on those. So what's the bottom line? What do I think of this boot? Well, I think it's been pretty clear to now, but what I'd like to do is go through a little exercise of what I think the boot is really worth, because that's how we're going to see if it's really worth it to you. So if you were to just hand me this boot, give it to me, and I was going to have to put a value on it, I'm going to go through my mind, kind of see how I would value the boot. Well, the first thing I would look at was the Dr. Sole half sole and the leather sole. So to me, I know this to only be on really high-end boots. This is on Vibird, some really expensive Japanese-made boots. So automatically, I would think, okay, we're looking at a really nice boot here. Then looking at the stitch down construction, I again would think this is really good. I'd put, some value to that. Jumping to the Tuscanello horse rump leather, usually the maker has to know what they're doing if they're going to build a boot out of this. This is not something that you would just throw together. So if I just looked at this boot, examined the pieces of the boot that I can see with my eyes, not knowing anything about where it's made and who makes it, I think realistically, I talked about the clicking not being perfect, not being the best. It's not Vibird clicking. It's not John Lofgren clicking. It's not that upper echelon. So I think this boot would be around the $600 to $700 range. That's what I think. if I were to just look at it and dissect it a piece by piece. Now, if you were to add on that this was hand stitched, hand bottomed, I think that would add another $100. So I think I'd be right at that $750 range for this boot. And I think that would be what it's worth. And I don't think you would be disappointed paying that type of money. Now, depending on your opinion, depending on different things, you might value this lower, you might value this higher, but that's my personal opinion. And that's what I'm giving today. If I found out now that it was made in India, that obviously would drop it down a little bit. I mean, though if it was made in the US, this would be over 1,000. But if made in India, it'd be a little bit less. But still, I think for 350, and yes, the shipping is high. It's $40 at least to ship to me. You're getting an amazing boot. You're getting a Grail boot. This might be the end all boot for some people. I mean, it's a stylish, gorgeous boot with an amazing leather. You just are getting so much. So I do think it's worth it. I think it's absolutely worth it. I think it's an amazing brand. I want to buy more from this brand. I'm going to be doing that and be highlighting the brand more, even though I'm paying for it with my own money and I'm not sponsored by them. I just think it's that good. So thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for watching video one. And if you haven't, go check it out too. And let me know if you have any questions about the brand or about these boots. And what I'll do in a couple months, I'll do a break-in update. You'll get to see how this Mayrum Tusconello Horserump TPR leather is breaking in over time. So, make sure to look out for that when that drops. And I will see you on the next one.